My review of the circular ring is going to be short, and it's probably going to be a little bit negative. That's because I didn't really like it. But don't let my experiences and my opinion dissuade you from further investigating this ring. It may be suitable for you. I just feel like it's a bit too early and it's not quite right for me. Hey guys, Alex here from alexfergus.com, and this is my, I don't want to say final, but it is my main review of the circular ring. Now, if you've been following my channel for a while, you would have seen I did a video and it was first announced, and did one looking at the sizing kit and the setup process when it arrived. I did a first impressions video, and I think I've done like a quick update video as well, sharing some thoughts after a few days. I wanted to give this a good couple of months of use before I did my final review, but I've just stopped using it, to be honest. And to be honest, I actually think right now it's broken. I don't know if you can hear this, but if I put it next to the microphone, it's just constantly vibrating. And if I put it on the desk, you can probably see this. It's just bouncing around, and I don't actually know how to stop that. I just had to leave it until it went flat, put it back on the charge, and it started doing that again. Tried syncing it with the app, tried restarting it, putting it in airplane mode, which is meant to disable the vibration, but that hasn't happened as well. So yeah, I don't really like it, and I think I'm spoiled a little bit because I have been using the Oura Ring for many years. Now, the Oura Ring has its limitations, and the more recent pricing model, yeah, is not ideal in the way they handled that, and I know they've grown so big that their customer support isn't very good, and yeah, I don't want this to be about Oura Ring or necessarily a comparison, but I do like the Oura Ring. It's very sleek, there's no moving parts, it's easy to clean, it doesn't get grubby, and the data I like from the Oura Ring, which is just my overall like sleep and HRV and readiness and all that, is pretty good, at least when you're looking at it from a broad picture. I don't care about activity, and it's true for the circular ring. So I have that sort of comparison going on all the time now. I was wearing both rings for a while. Honestly, I'll be completely honest, I was like, I can't wait till this review period is finished so I can take this off and just use my Oura Ring. Now, what happened is, the reason why I cut the whole review short is because in the middle of the night, a few nights ago, I woke up and it was vibrating. This ring, the circular ring, was vibrating. Now, it has an alarm function, so you can actually set it to wake you up at a determined time, predetermined time. I didn't set that alarm mode. I haven't set it. I wasn't going to, but I can say that I think if you do set the alarm mode, it will wake you up, because the vibration is like, well, that's strange. So it woke me up. Didn't know why. I pressed the button on the ring because, yes, this ring has a little physical button, and it stopped. About half an hour later, I wake up again, it's doing it again. Third time it happened, I was like, this is ridiculous. So here I was in bed, like half asleep, trying to pull this thing off. And anyone knows that your finger changes size during the day and night, and sometimes it can be quite easy to get off, and other times it's really difficult. Anyway, it took me a while to get it off. I finally got it off, put it on my bedside table, go back to sleep, it stopped vibrating, and then I wake up again. And it's like, it's doing what you just saw before, just pulsing away. And then I threw it, opened the bedroom door and threw it down the hallway. And I was like, I'm done with this. That's the last time I've used that ring. So I didn't necessarily finish on a high, but I said to myself at whatever hour that was, I'm done. This is it. I'm going to do the review based on the couple weeks of use I have had with this ring. So I think what happened is, because I'm used to the sleek, nice Oura Ring, I'm always comparing it. And I'm also used to the sleek, nice Oura Ring app, which has been around for 5, 6, 7 years, however long it's been. I think they've also rushed it, because the app itself still says it's in beta mode. There's just lots of bugs and issues. And I did a video on this a few weeks ago. Nothing's really changed since then. So look, you might like it. You may be watching this, say, in late 2023, and the app may be completely overhauled, and all these little issues that I'm having may be so much better. So keep that in mind. I know this was a super long introduction, but some people may have watched this and decided, yep, that's all I need to know. I'm not going to get it, or I am going to get it, or I'm going to look further into it. So what I'm going to do now, this is probably going to be, it's quite an off-the-cuff video. I do apologize. It's not typically how I do a review, but part of me wants to just get this video out so I can move on to another product. Not the best way to do a review, I know, but that's just where my head is at the moment, okay? So first things first, what do you need to know about To Oura and the company? Well, it is a French-based company, and it's actually made in France, which is pretty neat, given that pretty much everything these days is made in China. I'm just opening these little boxes because the ring actually comes with these colored bands. Here we go. I've shown this in my other video, so if you do want to take a deep dive into the To Oura, you can go back and check that out. Quite a neat feature where you can put different bands on. So there's a gold one here, there's a black one, and there's also a silver one, which is back inside my house at the moment. So it means you can change the color of your ring, which is good, but there are flaws with that. So anyway, back to the company and the ring. Now, if you head over to circular.xyz, you'll see that it's quite a slick website, and they have done a good job talking about the features and promoting it. They're saying there's an exclusive launch price. It's $285 US dollars. I believe there's a discount code that I have. I think it might be Alex or Alex10. I'll put a link, a comment below. You can check that out if you do want to save a little bit of money. At the moment, it's saying anticipated delivery for orders placed today, May 2023. So it's quite a wait. I know some people have got these rings, so there's obviously a bit of an issue there, which is a bit of a bummer. As you scroll down, you see you can customize the ring with the colors. So, hey, there's even a rose gold color there. I don't have that, but I think you have to buy those extra when you place the order. I was sent this, so I didn't have to pay for it, lucky me. And the bands came with it. So yeah, I'm not too sure how much this package would have cost, but expect to pay around $300, which is kind of up there. I mean, that's what you pay for an Oura Ring. The Oura Ring now have their membership cost. And for something that I feel like is a bit rushed and the app isn't quite ready, it's quite a lot of money, right? But anyway, as you go down the website, you'll see you get the charger, which is this little thing here. That simply goes into a USB-C plug, like so. And then you just line up the middle prongs, and it sort of clips in place there, like so. And there's a bit of a magnet that holds it in place. That's how you charge it. I just charge. I don't know how long it's been taking me to charge. I usually just leave it on for an hour or two. There's a little LED that glows as it's charging. So you can see that they're sort of promoting that this is the personal health revolution, sleep, health, energy evolved. And they got a statement here: the most complete wellness hub app powered by the smartest smart ring. Get to know yourself, full circle, wake up with the perfect smart alarm. So this ring, I'm holding the charger, this ring does have a vibration mode in it. So there's obviously a little motor in it. And as we just saw before, that will vibrate. Pretty cool feature, though other than the alarm, I'm still not too sure what it would be useful for. I know there's a timer function, so you could set a timer and then it will vibrate when that time is up. That as well could be useful. I just haven't, like early on I thought, hey, that's cool, but since I've been using it in the last month or so, I haven't actually found any times where I'm like, that timer function could be useful right now. Because you always have your phone or your watch, and yeah, anyway, I'm sure someone will come up with some neat ideas. The alarm, yeah, like I said earlier, I know it will wake you up. I wouldn't rely on it because if the battery goes dead or whatever happens, but it is like a good subtle way to wake up. I mean, maybe if you're, I don't know, camping with a few others and you need to wake up earlier, or you're sleeping in a room with lots of other people and you don't want them to wake up, you could definitely use this as your first alarm, but I'd still put like a regular alarm clock or a phone alarm on as a backup just in case this doesn't work, but of course that will wake everyone else up. So anyway, it is, I do like that feature. What else has it got here? Understand and improve your sleep. So yeah, it's tracking all your sleep data. It will assist you on your journey to improve your sleep with real insights. Keep track of your activities, quantify your physical activities. I do like the live tracking feature, which is where you can go in and see your heart rate variability and heart rate in real time, which is pretty cool. However, I've found it hasn't been that good for activity tracking. Like I had a 180 beats per minute session on the erg the other day. When I looked at my data on the ring, it was like a max heart rate of 120. So I was like, yeah, okay, that's not even close. But anyway, we'll cover that when we look at the app soon. Biohack your way to better health. So they're saying, you can see your readiness and your immune score, and it's tracking all the usual stuff: temperature, heart rate, respiration rate, blood oxygen. all that cool stuff. There's some breathing exercises in there. If you go further down the website, you see that there's airplane mode, so you can disable the EMF exposure. So then there's a calendar, personal diary notes section in there for if you want to track things. Timer, which we talked about. Okay, so let's look at all the things that Circular analyzes. So blood oxygen, temperature, heart rate variability, heart rate, energy, which I guess is energy expenditure, cardio points, which is based on your intensity and calories burned, steps, resting heart rate, respiration rate or breathing rate, VO2 max. I haven't tested that. I don't know how good that would be given that the heart rate wasn't accurate when I was doing my training the other day. Sleep cycles, and then your recovery score. That's just some. You can click see all features to see even more. So, and then they talk about how the app is creating recommendations based on your data, not just generic, you know, hey, you slept good last night, well done type thing. I mean, I do like that. I do like that concept, but I feel like it's not quite ready yet. I feel like that's what they're going to be working towards later in the year, and when it's up to speed, it could be pretty good. But at the moment, I'm like, yeah, it's nothing amazing. So they say they've got a personal feeding assistant. So when we look at the ring itself, you'll see that it's actually got quite a square edge to it, and you really feel that square edge. Now, I don't know if you can see it on camera here, but there is a bit of a lip on the edge. Now that is so you can put these color bands on and it will click into place, which does make the ring look a lot nicer, but it's still quite I don't know, it's a little bit bulky, a little bit squarish, a little bit cheap, I'd say. I don't know, just plasticky, and it kind of like, hey, it could have been done nicer. That's just my impressions. I mean, even the first gen Oura Ring, again, this isn't meant to be a comparison video, but hey, I've got a lot of experience with Oura Ring, and they're probably the biggest smart ring on the market, right? So it makes sense to compare them. But their first gen ring was very bulky, right? Like it was a big piece of jewelry, but it was still nice and sleek and rounded, and you didn't have like square edges, and it was like a ceramic finish, and you know, a bit of gloss, and it looked kind of nice. Okay, these rings, I mean, they're kind of like what Oura would send out as their sizing rings, you know, just plasticky, sort of hasn't been polished too much, so to speak. That's what I think of with it, with the ring itself. Now, when you're wearing it on your hand, I did notice it was catching more than my Oura Ring was catching on things, and I think that's just because it is a little bit bigger. I didn't have any issues with discomfort. Getting it on and off sometimes was rather difficult, other times it came off pretty easy. What I did find though is when these bands were on, if I was washing my hands or, I don't know, doing some work, I would get grime buildup or soaps. I'd just get soap all around the edges under this band ring, and it was quite gross. It wasn't always like it, but I mean, I live on a little farmlet, I'm in the garden, you know, I'm always doing stuff outside, and a lot of times I'd look down and be like, oh gross, there's, you know, stuff all on there. And likewise with soap, you'd wash your hands, and because of those edges and the middle here, it would all sort of catch, and you're like, oh, that's kind of gross. Same with like tissues. It was, yeah, sometimes I'm like, oh, I don't really like this. In fact, to skip ahead a few points here, I ended up taking these color rings off and just having the bare bones ring as is, because I didn't like all that grime and that getting built up. That wasn't the only reason I stopped wearing these. I think the ring looks nicer with these on, but I didn't like that issue. I didn't like the fact that these would come off. Sometimes I would try to take the ring off and the middle band would just slide off first, which was like annoying because then you'd have to just put it back on. It's like, oh, why bother? The other thing is these bands, as you can see, maybe I'll get a black one here. It doesn't go all the way around. There is a bit of a break. So that's so you can expand it and get it on. But what's interesting is that hole, I'll put the gold one on. It doesn't go all the way around the ring. Now, that is because there's a little button on the ring. Let me show you this, which we'll talk about soon. Okay, so you can see there it doesn't go all the way around, right? But what's interesting is the groove for that metal case is bigger than the actual metal itself. So you're not going to see it on camera, but it kind of shows me that the band ideally for this ring should even be bigger. Now, I think what happened, and I talked about this in the other video, is that because there's so many different sizes of these rings, they only just produced one size maybe of these bands. They're saying that it's got size 13 on it. So no, that theory is wrong. So I'm not too sure why that is. It needed to be like another 5 mils bigger to fill the groove up and still have the space for the button. But that means it moved around a bit. And sometimes I even noticed that the band itself had covered the button completely. Like it just spun around and it'd gone over the button. And then what happens is when you press that button, it vibrates, right? So when that happened one time, my ring was just vibrating all the time. And I realized the band had slipped over the button. Every time you just bump any part of the band, it was putting pressure on the button and the ring was vibrating. So yeah, again, that's another reason why I just ended up taking that off. And I was like, oh, I don't like this. It's annoying. Okay, now speaking of that button, there is a button on the side. You've got to press it rather hard. I found like using your thumbnail or fingernail, you kind of need to like really push it in to get it going. The idea is you wear the ring on your finger and then your thumb over here can just come in and press it, you know, like so, right? If you put the ring on the wrong way, then the button's going to be on this side of the hand and you're not going to be able to press it. I've done that a few times. So I'm like, oh, well, the button's on the wrong side now. I didn't really think about it as I was putting the ring on. I'm sure over time you'd stop doing that, but just a little annoyance. But like I said earlier, I didn't really use the button at all, but I did use the button. A lot of times it was just going off accidentally. I was shoveling some dirt one day and it was just, you know, the handle of the shovel was just obviously pressing on the button and it just kept vibrating. I was rowing with it. Every second stroke it would vibrate and you're just like, oh gosh, this is driving me nuts. Lifting weights and stuff, same thing, like bit of pressure on that button or on the ring or your hand or whatever, and it would trigger that vibration mode. Now I'm pretty sure you can disable it and not have to worry about it, but it's kind of like, it's just a bit frustrating. And I do wonder how long that button will last. Like there's a bit of a, I don't know, rubber sort of plasticky sort of seal over it all. But even after like a month of use, you can see it's been worn down a little bit. Well, not worn down as much. Maybe it's just a bit of dirt built up around it. But I would be curious to see what that looks like after, say, a year of solid use. Now, unfortunately, I'm not going to use it for a year, so I won't be able to report back in. But I'm sure other people will. But those are all my concerns. Hey, so as you can probably guess, this is a little bit of an update video. I'm actually recording this in my holidays here. I knew the circular video review was about to go out, and they have recently done quite a big update on their app. So already my review that was about to go out, that was filmed a couple of weeks ago, is a little bit outdated. So I wanted to quickly just add this little update in, and I'm also going to cut out some of the content from my review. Of course, you won't know that, but I have had a quick look. The app has been not overhauled, but there are quite a few little updates and tweaks and stuff. Now, that is a good thing because, as you're soon going to find out, I had lots of issues with the older app and with the ring. So I just want to put that out there as a bit of a disclaimer. What you're going to see ahead is already outdated in terms of the bugs and whatnot. I can't go in and say that all the bugs I'm going to talk about have been addressed because I can't actually use my ring. It is not working and not syncing, so I think something's gone bad there. But yeah, I just wanted to put this in and say, look, what you're about to see may already be outdated. Anything that I know has been resolved, I'm going to cut out. And yeah, just keep it in mind. I still think though that it's probably a little bit early and the app probably still needs another 6 months or so. And in fact, there's some interfaces that I just don't like and I think should be totally redone. But look, that's enough. Watch the rest of the video, you'll see what you mean, and maybe look around for some other reviews on this ring in the coming year, like 2023, and you know, you'll get a bit more information from those guys as well. So let's talk about the app. Now, I'm going to go into the app. I'm on iPhone. As you can see towards the top there, it says the circular app is currently in beta. I'm not using that as an excuse for the issues and bugs I've had. I'm just pointing it out. However, you kind of, I don't know, you'd hope that a lot of the big issues have been ironed out before they launch the product. Saying that, if you order this now, I'm filming this in December 2022, you're not going to get it for a few more months and maybe the app is better. So let's go through the app itself. Now at the top you've got circles. This is just shortcuts really, like you can go manage circles and everything but guided breathing. And you know what, let's just turn it all on. So it's just shortcuts. So you got your alarm clock mode. I've talked about that before. I haven't used it, but yeah. You've got your alarm clock mode, which I've already talked about. We'll come back to sleep. We'll come back to activity. Guided breathing, which is just, you don't really need the ring for this, but it does vibrate to give you cues for when to breathe. If you're into that sort of thing. You've got live measurement. Now, this is kind of cool. You put the ring on, you stay nice and still, you hit start, and it'll track your heart rate, your oxygen levels, HRV, and activity rate. Now, I have done this before. Here we go. So let's just come on there. So we can see, 60 beats per minute. Heart rate variability is quite low. Oxygen levels kind of good. So, this is kind of cool to use if you're a little bit run down or you just wanted to see your data. I mean, that's neat. I wish Oura had this. And I think this data right now is accurate. However, when I have done more intense stuff, the heart rate is not very accurate. So I do like that feature, especially if you're sick. Like, you don't have to worry about getting a little pulse oximeter and stuff. You can just use your ring, which is pretty neat. Okay, so before we look at sleep and activity, you've got 3 more sort of shortcut buttons down there. We've got calendar, where you can see scores and add notes. I've never used that. I don't use it with Oura Ring either. You've got data mode, so performance or eco. Performance takes more readings, but shortens the battery life. Now, I remember early on I was having lots of issues with battery life and tracking. I haven't had problems for a while, so that's been good. Airplane mode, now I can turn that on. It means the ring won't communicate with my phone, but then I can turn it straight back off again. So I've just tried that. So now if I go back into the live mode, okay, so you can see that it's working. So I have no idea how that airplane mode works, because in theory, if you put it on airplane mode, then the ring's transmitter is off. But then if I disable airplane mode, how does the ring know that I've disabled airplane mode? So yeah, I'm not quite too sure how that works, but hey, there's a button for it. So now when we look at the newsfeed, now this is where every time you update your ring, you will get more information. So we've got some sleep here. I had a core sleep from midnight to 7 o'clock. I slept 7.5 hours, and it gives me a sleep score of 83%. Now, if I click sleep report there, so we'll scroll down to general for that day. Here are your daily scores, sleep quality, wake up score, energy score, global score, just percentages. So you really need to use it ongoing to get any true meaning from these numbers. There's a little bit about activities, saying how my resting heart rate has been tracked, and it sits around 54 beats per minute. Heart rate variability, data, sleep here. So this one actually picked up my nap that I had one day from 4 o'clock to 4:20. Another sleep score, 11:20 to 8:24. So you get that same stuff, sleep data, activity data, and then your overall, what do they call them? General scores. There was a calibration period, so I talked about that for a while. But really, that's all the data I got as I keep going further back. There's nothing like, how on the website it said you get all this personal information. I mean, it's just scores like, your sleep score and stuff. Okay, cool. Maybe, though, that's going to improve with time. But at the moment, that's all I'm seeing. So now when I go into sleep analysis, we'll pull up a night where I got some sleep. So this is what you see. So you get your score at the top. You get this little graph showing when I started sleeping, when I went into bed, got out of bed, what time I woke up. Disturbances, you can click each one to get a bit of a breakdown. Real sleep, and then you get a score, color-coded, plus a percent there. How it aligns with circadian rhythm, deep sleep, sleep debt. As you come further down, you see this chart of your sleep stages. Now, this is another issue with the app. It's a little bit buggy, so I'm not too sure here. You can't see the full sleep breakdown, so I don't know whether the ring just thought I woke up at 11:52 for a little bit and then went back to sleep. But based on that chart there, I can't see the rest of my night. So that's just showing from 11 o'clock to midnight. So, just little things like that. There are a lot of issues that just need to be addressed. When I click 7 days, it shows data for 7 days. I don't know what happened on that Tuesday night there. There's no data in there, but you can see your graphs and trends. Now down the bottom, we've got sleep quality score. Again, there's some missing data. I don't know what this is. Hours slept. It's all a little bit messy. Could be presented better. Heart rate. Now this is actually quite a nice graph. I do like this. Shows your heart rate over time, your average and your peaks and troughs. And yeah, I think that graph is quite nice. You know, it's showing, hey, there is quite a lot of data here. 30-day, not enough data, I guess. Heart rate variability, no idea what's happened here. Like 11 o'clock to 3 o'clock, and then it's just off the chart. Another little bug that needs to be improved. Breathing rate, that looks pretty good. Temperature variation, that's per night. And then blood oxygen level, decided to stop tracking it midnight. No idea why. So yeah, it could be a lot better. So let's find another night, 21st. So you'll notice I get really good sleep scores, but then if I do this in Oura Ring, I wouldn't get, you know, maybe that night would be like a 70 or 80 because I'm waking a lot these days without baby and whatnot. I'm going to bed late. I'm not getting that much sleep, but hey, Circular is saying I'm sleeping amazing, like 98 out of 100. I mean, that's excellent, right? Disturbances, I don't believe that was correct. You know what? Let's go find this night in my Oura Ring, 21st of 11th. Whatever night it was, you can see that the Oura Ring showing I wake quite a bit, which I do wake quite a bit, whereas Circular showing I only had 3 minutes of disturbances. Circular showing 13% deep sleep and 26 REM, or 29 and 12, and the other night was 33 and 9. So there's quite a big difference there. Yeah, quite a lot. 26% REM. I don't think my Oura Ring's ever said I got more than 15%. Yeah, look at all these REM sleeps. So yeah, I'm not saying one's better than the other, but there's definitely a big difference there. And again, when you look at the data back in the Circular Ring app now, when you look at the data, I mean, on the chart there, we're only seeing like 30 minutes of sleep, and then there's no other data. I'm just not too sure. So hey, look, I wouldn't rely on the Circular app to be like super accurate at the moment, at least with your sleep data. I mean, I wouldn't take that score and be like, woohoo, I'm feeling absolutely amazing, because yeah, it just hasn't seemed to be super reliable or consistent. When you go into activity, now some days I wasn't using this during the day, some days I was. So look, I've never really read too much into steps and calories and all that. I personally just think it's a bit silly, but some people do. I obviously didn't wear my ring the whole day this day. But you get things like your breathing rate, your heart body recovery, oxygen level. Again, the graphs aren't the best. Now, one thing that's annoying, like to change days, it's a bit of a process. You gotta, go in and click this. You can't just scroll from one day to another like I could in the Oura Ring. So Oura Ring activity, I wasn't wearing it those days, but so you can just quickly scroll and you can see all your graphs, and it's just nice and sleek and it just works well, right? It's just a bit clunky. Like if I want to see how that compared to the following Monday, I've got to go in, or following Wednesday, go in, find the date, pull it up, select it. I wasn't wearing it that day. So yeah, I mean, I don't really spend, to be honest, I think this is the first time I've even looked at the activity screen, and that's not a dig at Circular. I just don't bother looking at the activity screen. I don't with Oura Ring, and I don't with Circular, but that's what you're going to get in there. You can click these, I believe. No, you can't. You can't even. Oh, you can click these ones down here. Your score details to learn a bit more about it. So yeah, there's some cool stuff in there. I just can't really comment how accurate it is. That's really it. Now, that's what you're getting. You're getting with the app. I feel like there's potential there. I feel like smooth out those graph issues, make it easier to scroll, make the scores, I don't know, more meaningful in a way, like some comparisons. It's got your sleep score overnight, and then underneath that, your 7-day average, just so you can see if you're doing better or worse. That's something that the Polar watch does really well. Like, it'll give you a sleep score, and then it'll compare it to your 28-day average. So maybe not so important for sleep, but like for your HRV scores and your heart rate scores and your stress load and all that, it'll have the number, and for some people they'll have no idea what a HRV number is, but then it'll have your average and it will say if you're doing better or worse than that. So you can see how your last night compared to your overall trend, and if you're starting to trend down, and that, you know, that's an easy thing to do, right? You've got the data there, it's just a presentation point of view. So hopefully these guys will work on all of these things. I'm sure, you know, they've built the hardware. That's the hard bit, right? They've got that going. Hopefully they can improve how that data is used and presented, and it will make a better experience for the end user. At the moment though, whether it's just because it's still beta testing and they're still figuring it out and a new company, I just feel like it's not worth the $300 at the moment. And you can probably see why. You know, it's a little bit limited. I've had some frustrations with it. Physically, I think a Gen 2 circular ring will be so much better, because they'll be like, oh gosh, that didn't work really well and this could have been done better. Now, it's not a bad thing. Like, if there were no other smart rings in the world and I'd never tried Oura Ring and I got this, I'd probably be like, hey, this is awesome. It sucks about these features, but it's because, you know, Oura Ring has been around for a long time. And they've kind of set the standard for rings. Not just that, there's now like 3 or 4 other smart rings coming out. I did a video comparing a bunch of them. Some of them, Circular's the only one that's shipped. No, tell a lie. Yes, Circular's the only one that's shipped at the moment. But there's a lot more that have been announced and are meant to be shipping next year. So it's becoming a hotly contested space, and it's important to, you know, get things right, because let's say the app was really, really nice with Circular here, but we still had these issues with the ring itself, like the vibration mode being annoying, catching all the grime and dirt, feeling a bit, or not looking super sleek. You know, some people may not just buy it simply because of those reasons, despite the app being really good. So I think it's important that the hardware is good. Now, I haven't talked about battery life. I haven't talked about charging, because I feel like I had a lot of issues early on, and I don't really know what's going on there, but I've done some firmware updates since then, and it seems to have settled in pretty good. So they say you can get a couple nights data out of this. I believe that. I'd say 2 or 3 nights is about, in performance mode, might be about right. With all my rings, I just charge them every morning, just always have done. Though if you do go away, like, you know, you've probably got a night or 2 up your sleeve if you don't have the charger, which is a good thing. But yeah, I'm sorry I can't be a little bit more detailed in this video. I have used it in the shower. I think I used it swimming once. I don't know if I ever used it in the sauna though. No issues there. I hope this video has helped you a little bit. Again, my experiences and my context, you know, with the Oura Ring and stuff, has probably made this review a little bit more negative than it needed to be, than it should be, than the product maybe is. So if you are watching this, check out some other videos as well. Like, check out some other review videos, which you should always do anyway. I'm affiliated with these guys. I think if you use that code below, I do get a bit of a commission. So yeah, I mean, like, go buy one if you want, and it helps me out. But check out other videos as well. Do a ton of research, because it is a lot of money, right? And you don't want to get something and then just have all these frustrations. It's always the risk with a first gen product. I personally like taking that risk. You know, early on with the Oura Ring, I was on the Indiegogo campaign, and I've done that with lots of companies, and I like taking that plunge. And, you know, if it's something amazing, it's like, wow, this is awesome, but you always know it could be a bit dodgy. And I think with Circular, you know, if they came out with a Gen 2 ring, or like you give it a year for them to fix that, or 6 months even to fix that app, I think they could be onto something really good. Is it better than Oura Ring? Well, from a price point of view, Oura Ring now have that membership mode, so, you know, that alone is a big plus for Circular. Though I know a lot of these other rings coming out, like Ultra Human and RingCon, I don't think they are having subscription models, so it spices the whole game up. But look, I'm gonna leave it there. Questions, comments, leave them below. If you've used one or if you've got one, I'd love to hear your experiences. Am I just being overcritical here? I'd really want to know. Be sure to subscribe. I have ordered some of these other rings that are meant to be coming out next year, so I'll probably do some first impressions and videos with those as well. So subscribe to check them out. Otherwise, I'll talk to you later. Bye.